Good morning, YouTube. How we all doing today? Y'all, you all, everybody. I'm speaking Southern twang today. I am rejuvenated, re-energized, and ready to start the week. What do I mean by that? Exactly. I just finished a 34-hour reset. I was real close to the house, but I gotta. It's the game we play. I could have went home and then turned around and headed 85, 90 miles south. But I don't want to use up all my points. So when I do need to go home, I could have went home. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of spent a lonely, I kind of lonely. Kind of sometimes you got to exaggerate. You know, a lonely weekend by myself, sitting in the truck stop. But I mean, it's the life we live as a truck driver. You know, I'm not saying um, it's an easy life. Can be hard if you don't have an anchor at home. It's many things. People always wonder why I talk about my wife like I do, because she's my anchor. She's my base. And she always tell me that I'm hers, which is I really greatly appreciate. But she's my anchor and my base at home. So I spent most of the. That's probably why I don't. I really normally I need coffee right about now, but I don't. Normally I need that. I gotta have my coffee, but I really don't need it this morning because I got more than enough, more than enough sleep. But like I said, I spent most of the time looking around and figuring stuff out. Trying to figure out if I should talk about it today or tomorrow. But I'll leave that for tomorrow. I spent most of my time online ordering some stuff. I did. I might as well talk about it today because I think I'm gonna change the subject for tomorrow. I got this stuff. It's called Hydrotane. I've been wanting to use it. Uh, a good part of my grass is northern grass, and in that really hard Georgia heat, kind of last year kind of killed it, not kind of killed it off. And I'm trying to see if I can get it to survive. Um, the wife doesn't like a lot of water, but it needs a lot of water. So what I did is I bought this stuff. It's called Hydrotane. It comes in granular or you can do liquid form. And I dropped it down. I got it on Amazon and it's coming. Well, what that does is it kind of searches for the moisture and collects it and keeps it near the roots. So I'm going to keep it near the roots of my lawn. So I'm just trying everything and anything. I'm rebuilding. I'm rebuilding the lawn at this house because it's got years of erosion that have just tore up, just destroyed it. Um, Another thing is I'm going to get a what you call it, a soil test so I can do better. I've been blowing it off. Another thing is I found a actual used part for my core aerator that I'm trying to put back together. The only two things is wrong with that. I need the tines and the tine holders. That's the little pointy things that dig into the ground. The holders are very expensive. They're like $76 a piece. So I turned on a responsible leave that I'm not just gonna dump it all on the credit card. I would do one at a time, get one at a time, make sure it's the right ones. But as far as I can see in the manual that I downloaded, it's what I need. That's one of the pieces. That's one of the actual pieces. The other one I got, I took a wild guess. So well, not a wild guess. It says it belonged to that aerator, but it wasn't the specs or whatever. So I've been fighting with it, but I actually got the two I bought. I got working, which is it's all good. Good morning, morning, welcome in. Um, these are the little manly things that guys we don't conversate. Everybody's I know more than you. Like I looked on somebody's webpage this weekend and they were farming. The name had farmer in it. And I'm not talking about them, but their grass looked horrendous. And they were saying, I'm gonna throw some grass seed down and and then let the rain take over. And kind of that's what I used to do when I first started on this lawn care adventure, and that's literally the wrong way to do it. First of all, you need you need to mow that daggone jungle that's near your garden. You kind of made me want to take away your man card because your lawn looked like crap. I mean, it was horrendous. Sorry, it was bad. I like God. I thought mine was bad. But what you do is you cut your grass down low. You look for the right grass seed for your area. You make sure literally you take a thermometer and shove it in the ground, and I believe it's between 55 and 65 degrees in the dirt. That's the optimal germination time. And don't quote me on that. I gotta look for the number. The germination time for your grass to grow. And you have to pick certain types of grass. Certain types of grass grows real quick, and other certain types of grass don't grow that quick. You know, I learned this, and you have to if you don't have a remote to turn the water on, and I'm trying to convince my wife to turn my water back on. Um, you need to turn the remote on and set it for like 5 or 10 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day to keep that grass seed moist so it doesn't dry out, and then you will actually get germination. It's just like it's not. That's the way it's supposed to be done. And what you do is once you drop that grass seed down, you put a slight coat of. I wasn't prepared to even talk about this, but I'm talking about it now. You know, a slight coat of dirt or I forgot what the other stuff. It's real like a light coat above it to just slightly cover it, and lo and behold, you'll get seed coming up. And if you want something real quick, drop some ryegrass down there. Ryegrass will come up literally in 4 days. 4 days it'll show up. So that's how you're supposed to do it. That other way, that's what I was doing for a while, wondering why I didn't get no grass seed, just throwing grass down there and wondering why. I remember I threw I bought I bought couple of $100 worth of sod, and I dropped it down on my lawn. I didn't prep the ground. I didn't do nothing. Just dropped it down. I said, well, it just killed the weeds right there. And I said I'd do it that way. I didn't water it. I didn't do nothing. I said, well, the rain to get it. I came back into town a month later, and all I had was yellow grass. Yes, yes, yes. The destruction is there. But you know what? Just my lawn was my front was rotted away. I just left the sod right there and threw dirt right over it. I just built upon it, and it's broken down now. But that's something that you learn. You don't just throw seed. You gotta prep it. You gotta prep it. You gotta prep the area. You gotta rake the seeds in there, slightly rake them in. It's the stuff you gotta do. But I was just thinking about that when I seen that video. I was like, wait a minute. You got farmer behind you, but you just gonna throw it down and hope for the best with the grass seed. It's the same thing. It's the same principle as you putting a plant, and you got to treat that plant right. You gotta put dirt around it. You gotta water it. You gotta bring down everything else around it. It's the same principle, same thing. But good morning, everybody. Welcome in, welcome in. This is something I was gonna really get in depth and talk about this, but I felt in my spirit, I felt in my heart that what I was gonna say needs to stay in the past. I was gonna add some more to it. What I mean by that? Well, the night before uh, the truck accident where I almost lost my life, a lot more had happened that I really never talked about. I don't think I really ever even told anybody. Just put it this way: the night before, I almost kicked the bucket, almost went to see Jesus, and went to the pearly gates. I cried myself to sleep. That's how bad it was. And I would I was getting up, and that's it's funny that when I was supposed to get up, I heard something in my ear. I literally heard something in my ear that said, "Go back to sleep." I'm not I'm I'm not joking. I'm not playing. I literally heard a voice say, "Go back to sleep." And I said, okay, and I rolled over and went back to sleep. Um, this was literally the first time, because I was like, if something go down, I always slept with pants on, you know. But I was like, I felt so comfortable. Took my pants off. I'm in my drawers and no shirt. I think I have a shirt or a t-shirt. I don't know. And I abruptly got woken up, and it was the most horrific thing that I ever witnessed in my entire life. I woken up, and everybody knows about it. The sleeping quarters in the truck. There's like a little curtain that you close while the other person is driving. I had a trainee driving. He was doing so good. It was a flat land. I said, well, I'm gonna go to sleep because when I get up, I'm gonna drive. I woke up. The truck was going all over the place, just throwing me all over the place, and I'm screaming, what the what's going on? And the 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 curtain was on fire. And you know how my glasses, I didn't have my glasses on, and I couldn't see. My glasses were thrown somewhere, And I remember later on, the explosion had um, knocked shards of glass into my right knee, and I opened the curtain. I ripped open the curtain, and there was flames everywhere. And when it's your time, everybody talks about how manly they're gonna be when I'm screaming like a woman. When it's your time, I didn't know what to do because literally I got woken out of a dead sleep, and you know, kind of a loss for words. But I remembered, I think the truck had finally came to a stop because we went careening out of on from what I could figure out later on the highway into the median, which median was it was had like a little like a gorge in it, it was like a V, V shape, and the truck straightened out because it went down into the median and straightened out and came to a halt. And flames are going all over the place. I didn't know I didn't know what to do. I'm screaming, and a hand reached through the fire, grabbed my grabbed my wrist, and pulled me out of the truck. My trainee actually came back for me and pulled me out of the truck. I had I can laugh about it now, but I was standing on the side of the road screaming at the top of my lungs with you know um, tidy whities and just socks. I remembered my whole life, screaming because, you know, I had left I had left my wife. It was in the process of divorce, and you know, she was served and everything. So I was done, and you know, I had put everything that I owned, my whole life, was packed away somewhere in a nooks and crannies of that 18 wheeler. And we was on I Interstate 40, mile marker, I believe 110 in it was right on the outskirts of Little Rock, Arkansas. I'll never forget that place. Every time I go by there, I try to pull over. I literally get out the truck and get on one knee and thank you know thank God, you know. But and once again, I tell the story a lot of times that I didn't blame God. But I just asked why is this, why me? Why is this happening to me? Why is everything bad known to man? Why is this happening to me? I do remember what I did. God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I did whatever I did. You know, it's crazy how we don't realize that that you know that life is short, as life is really short. We don't realize how short life can truly be. You know, we're reminded by very our old loved ones and aunties and uncles and stuff that have passed in their sleep, We're not ever given a reminder that you could go in a horrific car crash. We're not reminded that every everyone that passes away isn't gentle and surrounded by their loved ones. They could be gone and moved on with no one with no one ever there. You know, this job that I do, this job that y'all see, it's just not an easy job. It's not. It never was easy. It's never gonna be easy. You got that they've have to send the state troopers out and check on you, at a truck stop, and they find out that a lot of truckers have passed away in the back of their truck. It's an experience that I've had to deal with for a long time. You know, it's not easy for a for a job that everybody thinks is so easy to just get in here and drive. You know, but it's funny because again, I woke up this morning. Unless I have to. I mean, if I really have to, which trust me, takes a whole lot. Sorry about that. Another water fell. I sleep with my curtains open. I remember when I got finally. I think it took 2 months to get back into a truck after that. It it took me a I tried to close the curtains when I went to sleep and would wake up and open them right back up. You know, I never got counsel for that. The company never supplied it. Actually, they instead of them being understanding, they let me go. I had to reapply for a job. Ain't that something? I had to reapply. We thought you wasn't coming back or whatever. Really? Should have collected unemployment, but it is what it is. But you know, at that time, I got. It's kind of hard to talk about, but at that time, I was really in a dark place. I had to, since I lost my license, I had to, I had to send away to get my birth certificate again. I had to mail away to get my birth certificate, and I had to go through all that. I had to get a new pair of glasses. I remember we were late. My mother was like in her dang near 70s driving me because I couldn't see, didn't have my license, trying to go to Kroger to get a pair of glasses, and we were late for the appointment. And the lady didn't even want to. She didn't want to hear nothing. See, that's how these black folks are. And it's sad to say. This is how we do each other. Instead of you being understanding, knowing that I was in a truck accident, I need my glasses. I'm without them. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to reschedule. And it's sad that we got to be like that. You know what I mean? Really sad. But I remember I had about I had a good bit of money saved up in the bank, and my father had a tire repair shop. I was staying with my parents while I recovered. Had my knee bandaged up. I had to go back to another doctor because I was still in pain. And I'm like wondering why. It turned out the doctor looked, said, "Man, you got glass all in your knee. He had to remove it." Like, and I remember I started walking because the closest liquor store was a good 4 miles away. And I didn't have walking sneakers like the Nikes or whatever. I had these really flat, cheap, cheap sneakers. And I would walk up to that liquor store, get me a bottle, and it was like right near where my father was, and my father's shop was, and I'd walk up there and I'd drink that whole bottle, then fall asleep in his little waiting area, whatever the heck it was, and I'd wake up, I'd get up, and I would walk literally all the way back. So that was 4 miles there and 4 miles back. I was walking 8 miles a day, and I would do that. I was doing that every day for a good long time, for a very good long time, until I literally ran out of money. All the money I had saved up, I literally ran out of money, and I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna have to. I have to go back to work. I remember that. I said, I have to go back to work, and I called them up and found out that I didn't have a job, and then they reinstated me and flew me out to Indianapolis, Indiana. I think that was Indianapolis. Trying to figure out where that was. It's so long ago. But see, I remember, and I remember going back on Facebook one day. I changed my name to Can't Stop Walking. I remember that. I changed it. It was my name, and I remember I put it on there. Can't Stop Walking. And I remember it because when I put on there, it was, I trying to be funny, joking, and I said can't stop walking, and it really wasn't because that, yeah, I can stop walking anytime I feel like it, but I put on there can't stop walking, and I think the reason I put that is because regardless of what happens in my life, I have to keep moving forward. Regardless of what situation is going on, I have to keep moving forward. Regardless of the destruction and the mayhem that happens in my life, I have to keep moving forward. And I have various pictures that I've taken You wonder, you know, why did we do the selfies and all that stuff? I remember I had an ex-girlfriend so stuck on herself that she was, why, you know, I know somebody he was talking about me that did more pictures of themselves than me. They stuck on themselves. No, it wasn't that. I was recording, what was going on in my life. And when I look at this one picture, I have a P code on, and I could see I could literally, I could see the despair. I could see that I was holding on by one little thread. I could see the hurt and the pain and the sorrow. And I remembered that I made the choice that because it wasn't me, it was someone else that almost took my life. And I remembered, you know, I got to pull it together. I got to put my big boy's shoes on. You know, God has given me a second chance. I remember, Lord, just give me a chance. I've never done nothing. I've never been anywhere. I don't remember the last time I was happy. And I remember putting and giving that name. Because guess what was before that one? It was sober for. Sober for now on, being sober. And I had spent a good 2 months not being sober. And I remember, getting back into the truck and how weird it felt. But I tried to push forward and I made it. I was pushing forward but there was a black cloud over me it was so intense that it actually, it actually was painful. Um, there was a lot, one thing you get to do when you drive a truck is you get to do a lot of self-reflecting. I mean, a lot. And, you know, tried the dating scene, which I remember when you know, first met my wife. I remember saying that, I said I'd rather go fight in Afghanistan than to go on another mother effing date with these women out here nowadays. And I remember when she was just sat there and listened and was, very, very intently listening to everything I said because it wasn't your normal date. We actually, it's so funny how how we met. I was online doing that online dating crap, and I was so frustrated. I deleted everything that said anything about me because literally I was lying. I didn't know because I was a giver in my marriage, and I gave to this narcissistic sob that I couldn't even remember what I like to do, what I like to, what type of music, what I didn't, I was totally lost. I didn't know what I wanted, what I needed, what I expected. I didn't have this unreachable list of the right woman. I didn't have nothing that I had to compare to what I actually fucking wanted. And I remembered, I said on there, it says, I like to walk. And I was just about to delete that because I was laughing when I looked at it. Yeah, I like to walk to the freaking liquor store. And and that's how I talk to myself as you pathetic individual. I like to walk to the effing liquor store. And then, when I right about deleted, I got a message, and the person said, I like to walk. I like to walk also. And that's where the conversation has started. And that black cloud that I actually had, I mean, it was deep. It was deep. It was dark. It was like, when you go through you go through a fog, you can't see nothing in front of you. That's how deep it was. And I remembered the you know and and I remember, I think I was on, I believe I was on the road, and I and I was, I think I was either on the way home. I was going to be coming and staying with the parents for a little while, and you know, side story. And this is how pathetic you women are. Y'all got this long, unattainable list of what you want in a man, and what and they I remember I went on a few dates and I was asked all these stupid ass questions. Do you have a car? Yeah, I had a car. Do you have a place to stay? No, because I was newly divorced, about to get a wait a minute. Yes, I was newly divorced. I was divorced because the divorce had went through in October, and this happened in November. I was newly divorced and I had nothing. I was starting all over. What, you stay with your mama? You didn't fucking know the story, but what you said, oh, you stay with your mama? This is what I hear all the time. You didn't know that I fucking lost everything and almost lost my motherfucking life, but you didn't know that. But you got this unobtainable list. I want someone that's six pack and all this other crap, and I want you to you need to make this amount of money, but you weigh a fucking ton. All your pictures is your big fat round face. Oh, don't go there. But you don't know what's going on with that person on the other side. Everybody isn't a moocher. Everybody isn't a piece of dirt. Some people are hurting and need just one hand stretched out. Just one hand. Some people need that one hand to be stretched out to let them know that, hey, I give a fuck. Male or female. Some of us out here need that one hand. But back to the story. And I always tell the story that we met, and our first date was not, you need to take me to this one, Michael's or whatever. That you need to buy me this $900 meal, and don't expect nothing after that. Actually, I didn't. Didn't even care. I was so starved for affection. Just talking to somebody was enough for me. And I remembered we did the whole date and walked up Stone Mountain, walked down, and was about to say goodbye. And see, these are the clues that you got to know that you got a really good person. I borrowed the pickup truck from my father's business. The engine mounts on it was gone. It was like one, this pickup was all, it had one, like, one long seat. I don't even know if the seat belts even work. And you could swear you heard the music when you got in it. The music from Sanford and Son. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, you really heard that music. I remember I didn't even care at that point. I remembered um, I asked him, so where are you parked? Because we parked. I said, well, I'm parked over, right over here. And she said, well, I'm parked outside the gate. I said, well, I can give you a ride to your car. And she said, okay. And she got in the car and the Sanford and Son mobile, didn't throw her nose up and nothing like that. And I didn't even care at that point. I didn't even care. But I did remember, wow, this is a very nice woman. And hopefully we could be friends. See, I was just as clueless as could be. Hopefully we could be friends and I could have someone to maybe invite out to dinner, or maybe we could go to a movie, or, or maybe go dancing, or, spend time together. And guys, there was no sexual thought or like that. I just had given up. I said nobody wants me. I'm a piece. I literally was thinking I'm a piece of shit, but at least I can make a friend because in the past I'm not gay, but I've always made friends with women because being a empath, I'm a fantastic listener. Go figure. Women want men that actually listen. Isn't that crazy? So I did realize, well, I am, I make friends with women. Maybe she'll want to be my friend. And I remember I got back on the road and, I texted her and called her and wasn't overly, overly pushy. You don't want to be too much and you don't want to be too less, like my man on the live a couple of weeks back that didn't text a certain person for days, you know. And I remembered I had a Boost Mobile, this old cheap old phone, Boost Mobile, and the company was sending me somewhere. I think it was like freaking North Dakota somewhere, and I couldn't get a signal to save my mama's life, but I could get going to McDonald's get the free Wi-Fi. I remember I I remember I had uh, that's when I started looking at apps where you could text somebody or whatever, and I was texting her and explaining what the situation, so he didn't think that I was just learning what the word ghost means, you know, in dating. I didn't want her to think that I was ghosting her. I just, I'm in a bad area, just calling to let you know I'm okay and how's your day, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and I remember later on she told me how she was impressed that I, was trying to keep the conversation going. I forgot when she had told me that. But I had someone to talk to. I had someone to conversate with. I had someone to cut up with. I had someone to, I found a friend. And see, this is how God works. He knew about all the bullshit that was coming out of my mouth. He knew that I needed a friend. He knew what I didn't know. And that alone started building my confidence back. That alone started bringing me back the other way. It took a while. The Bible says, "Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good." You know, I had a sour taste in my mouth, but it started coming around. You know what I'm saying? It started coming around. And it's funny how God works. He knew as shallow as a person that I really was. I didn't know how shallow I was. He knew. And all it's so funny, because I I can't even put my wife's situation out there because she's on her second marriage too. But she went through some hell, and I'm not gonna ever say what she said. I would let her say it, but I've only over the years got bits and pieces. And I came to realize that she wasn't the answer to my prayer, but I was the answer to hers. And it's funny how it's funny how the way things work because you sit there and you realize, you think, well, God gave it to me. No, I think God gave me to you for a reason. You know how when you're out looking at used vehicles or used equipment, and you look and say, well, it's kind of broke here and broke there, and you know this needs to be replaced, and but it's got potential. I literally believe that God put me in front of this woman that was looking for she was looking for a friend and maybe a boyfriend, and I got a guy for you. He's a little broken. He's got potential if you're willing to wait and see. He's a little hard headed, but he will eventually come around. You gotta walk on eggshells for a little while because he's kind of really sensitive. That I kind of gave that to her. But if once he gets to know you, and once he lets his guard down, you'll have a good piece of equipment. You'll have a good man. He's just you just can't see it right now because he's under all of that worldly crap that I've had to destroy, and I need you to remove the carnage. If you just hang in there, he'll realize he will realize what you're truly looking for, and he'll come around. Now, granted, I make it look like I'm such a perfect person. I'm not, and I've done some fucked up things. We've almost broke up once or twice or two or three times. But I came back and I apologized because I was going through it. But then I realized she was going through it. I remember one day when she said, and it blew me away, she had said, "Why am I not good enough?" And I had thought I wasn't good enough. And she cried in front of me, and I said, "You are good enough. That's the problem. You're way too good enough for me. I remember that. And I've always tell the story about, but we we talked and talked, talked, and a lot of the talk was ha hum ho ha he ha hoo. What you doing? Nothing. I'm just sitting here reading a book. She loves reading books. I try to buy her books, but she don't like the books I buy. She likes them mushy gushy woman, stuff that you get online, and she loved that crap, you know. But we actually became friends, and I tell the story all one time that she actually I met, I was with my cousin. I'm back in town with my cousin. She said, I'll come down there and meet you. I was like, okay. She came down and met in the bar, and I remember she walked in, and I didn't realize it was her. And I did a double take, and she was absolutely stunning. I mean, gorgeous, beautiful, you name it. Oh my lord! And I remember, and again, I've said it, I've said it a few times on this channel. I was um, taken aback, and I think that's when I realized, wait a minute, this woman likes me, not as a friend, but she likes me. And I literally said, I remember in my head, I said, oh shit. I literally said, oh shit, this woman likes me. And because she hates that I say that, but I didn't think she was interested. So I said, I'd rather had a friend than anything else. I didn't think she was interested. And she likes me, like is attracted to me. And yeah, like literally, because I'm thinking about it, I was a loss for words then. uh, you know, and when we're gonna fast forward a little bit, I'm not gonna tell what happened, but something eventually happened, and I remember one of the words I said was, we go together now, right? Like something out of high school. Um, and I remember she had mentioned that she loves to go. I said, I remember mentioning, because like I said, we talked all the time that I've never done nothing. I've never been anywhere, and I'm, blah blah blah. I don't remember how it happened, but she had said she's an avid cruiser, that she goes with her a friend and their family. So in other words, she was always been third wheel. And I remembered she had asked me, would I like to go on a cruise? I said, what? Really? She said, yeah. We go blah blah blah. We would go down. We would drive down, and we would go, um, a couple of days, and then come back. And I didn't know how it worked. And she was showing me the ropes, and I didn't have much money. I remember at the beginning of the story, I spent most of my money up, and she and I remembered I would sneak out the room. I think it's one of these carnival, not sneak out, say, hey, I'll be right back, and I'll walk out, and I would just walk around the boat and look up and be in amazement. And it was an older carnival ship compared to what they had now. Actually, I think it's one of the boats that was decommissioned and sold for scrap. And she had told me later on that she was hurt because I didn't look so excited, but it was just the opposite. I was so so overwhelmed that it, the emotional person that I am, I showed no emotion, which is weird for me. I was so overwhelmed that I mean I was in shock because I never did nothing like that. I never got to go eat food and stuff my face and that and enjoy the. I was so overwhelmed that I just didn't show no. She was looking for something, and I just didn't. And I apologized later, but I literally was just the opposite. I was very overwhelmed by all of this. I remember I was drinking a $8 can of beer and just slowly drinking it because that's all I could afford was $8. And I mean, it was hilarious. I was just so overwhelmed. And I remembered I had started, I think I had the YouTube page, I don't know, but I changed right then and there. I changed the YouTube page. No, did I do that yet? I'm trying to remember. Did I? I'm not sure. Don't hold me to that. But that's when I sat down. I think after we came back from that, I told my best friend I had such a wonderful time. It was crazy and blah blah blah. It was an experience. And I sat down and I wrote a list out of what I want in a woman. I remember I sat there and I wrote a list out, and I wrote an honest list out, not this unobtainable bullshit that um that folks folk this list they make of how much money. I knew she made something because she was driving a BMW convertible, but I didn't give a flying crap. It wasn't my money, and it still ain't my money. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care about that. But I said, you know, I want someone that, something simple like thinks about me every once in a while. That isn't going to be mean to me or talk down to me because I made a mistake. Everything that a narcissistic person is. Someone like that. You know what I'm saying? I, you know, uh, I can't remember. I wish I would have had the list, but it was just an honest list. Someone that's gonna think about me and feed me when I'm freaking hungry. You know, that's caring and understanding and loving and doesn't argue all the time. Everything doesn't have to be a fight or all of that. Everything opposite of all of that um, male testosterone crap that a lot of these women this day and age throw up at your face, pushy and Bogarting and all. I mean, just all of the total mean and unruly and unobtainable stuff. And I remember after she started checking off each and every one of them, I had saved up enough money. I think I had like 1,500, 15 to $1,600. And I remember I walked into uh, a jewelry. I remember Jared because I remember this gay dude and I walked in to see if he still worked there, and he did. And I remember asking him, I know you know my ex and everything. Please keep this between us. And I said, I'm looking for an engagement ring. I happened to some way remember her ring size, and something down here in Molly. And I remember when I bought the ring, the sucker was small, but it's all I could afford. And I mean, I was terrified the night I asked her to marry me and the whole 9 yards. But after oh, before I say that, let me stop there before I asked her to marry me. I remember I said it again. Hey, I forgot about this part of the story. Hey, I've always wanted to go. I said, hey, I've always wanted to go to Las Vegas. I said, really not to gamble, 'cause, and I don't really want to lose my money, but I've always wanted to go to Las Vegas to look around and do whatever. But while I was saying that, I could hear her typing in the background. And I remember before we finished the conversation, she said, when's the next time you go home? I said, well, I'm going to be home the weekend or whatever. She said, um, you know, I said, the week of whatever. She said, good, we're going to Vegas. Did you guys just hear that? She said, good, we're going to Vegas. And I remember, long story short, we had went to Vegas, and quick story, from one end of the strip to the other is 5 miles. We stayed at the pyramid, which everybody says is a dump, but it was okay for me. We stayed at the pyramid, which is all at the end. We walked down one side, that's 5 miles. You walk all the way back to the pyramid, that's another 5 miles. That's 10 miles. And then you walk in and out, because the way they have Vegas, it's like herding cattle through stores and all that. In and out, walking into casinos and whatever. We did two. We literally did two half marathons in 2 days. Two half marathons in 2 days. And I remember when we got back home, and I asked for four ibuprofen, four regular ibuprofen, which is 800 milligrams. It's just prescription strength of ibuprofen. She looked at me and was started yelling at me like, "What? Am I addicted or something? You addicted to the drug?" Now, guys, granted, I was pushing about 300 pounds at the time. I was way out of shape, and I remember, and I said this story. I tell the story all the time that I sat there and said, you know what? I got to get out here and start walking. I can't stop walking. because this woman going if I'm gonna be with this woman, I can't stop walking because if I stop walking, she gonna kill me. I got to get in shape. And I think when I said that, and then I changed my name on YouTube. I think I just was on YouTube just to be on there, and I put that can't stop walking on YouTube. I put on YouTube and I put the description, and that was literally after I asked I asked Norman to marry me, and it's so funny because the reason I'm telling this story today is because she said you should put on your live the way that the story of the your name that you said can't stop walking went from a negative to a positive. Even though I say yeah, I can't stop walking, this woman gonna kill me, but it really was and became a positive, fixture in my life because when I put on there newly married truck driver, learning to live, love, and experience life. These were the cries out to God. God, I don't want to die. I've never done nothing. I've never seen anything. I've never went anywhere. And and God stepped in and says, "Hey, I got just the right person for you. I got you don't just need a woman. You don't just need a relationship in your life. You've had a hard time your whole life making male friends. I got just the right crazy son of a bitch that's gonna give you your black card back. That's gonna be your friend, even when you get to be a pain in the fucking ass. I'm gonna put him in your life to give you a little bit more excitement because you said you never done nothing. I'm gonna make him because he likes to do crazy, crazy shit. I'm gonna have you on a freaking zip line doing 55 miles an hour down a fucking slope, 1,000 feet in the air through a valley because he likes to do crazy shit. You ask me, I'm gonna do it for you. And guys, Charles don't know how much I appreciate him, but he's become a really, really cherished friend and a really good brother because I needed a friend. I needed a good male friend that would not hesitate. The man won't hesitate. I won't hesitate to hurt your feelings if I'm gonna prevent you from fucking up. And many a times in the beginning of my marriage and relationship, I was gonna fuck up. And he said, nah, bro. You need her much just as much as she needs you. So I gotta teach you how to shut the fuck up. I gotta teach you how to keep your mouth shut and learn how to love this woman. You're gonna figure it out. You're gonna figure it out because I've already fucked up so many times. I'm 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 gonna help you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the funny part of it. That's why when I say stuff, God's got jokes. He's got jokes, but there's jokes. It's I say that in the layman's terms. He knows what you want and need. He knows what you need, and he knew these two crazy knuckleheads I needed in my life. That's why, yeah, I said the being in this truck is lonely or whatever, but It ain't as lonely as it used to be. That loneliness only lasts what 3 minutes, where it used to be months and days and hours and a black cloud. Even though it's dark out here, boy, it's kind of shiny up in this camp because I'm oh so thankful to be alive today. Oh, so thankful. And that's why it's funny, you know, a certain well-known YouTubers when I covered the can't stop, won't stop. I might put that on there. Can't stop, won't stop, and my name will be longer. But there's meaning behind that, and it's a can't. I I say that today, then I say it for you guys that regardless of your situation, regardless of what you're going through, regardless of how bad or how hard you're hurting, you can't stop moving forward. You got to keep going. You know, you got to keep moving forward. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. Life is so short. Life is as important as in all the crazy stuff that's going on nowadays. We got to, you guys, we got to keep moving forward. You guys got to keep moving forward. Find the things that you enjoy in life. Don't let no one take those away from you. Don't let nobody tear you down. If you're with someone that's always tearing you down, you're with the wrong person. Sorry, hate to be the bearer of bad news. You know that the name that name can't stop walking. It's been I don't know that this big word is synonymous to. I got to keep moving forward. I can't turn around. I can't go back. I can't. I got to let go of the past. I got to keep moving forward. I got to keep pushing forward. I got to stay in my lane. You see how I'm driving? You notice I ain't got in the left lane. I got to stay in my lane because there's security in my lane. There's love in this lane. There's peace. There is, there's so much, you know, there's so much. There's so much of that name that, I get people that, oh, you got such a long name. Yeah, this it's for a reason. It's telling you all, all the mess that I've been through, and I still made it with the help of loved ones and friends and family, not blood family, but people I call family. I made it through. And if anything else I could tell you today, I could tell you this. If I can make it through, daggone it, you can make it through. If I can do it, oh boy, trust and believe. You sure enough can do it. We all look for this miraculous God. If you put $10 million in front of me, I'll do all this. No, Lord, just give me just just give me a second. Give me a second chance. And Father, I thank you for your grace. I thank you for your mercy. I thank you for your blessings that you give me today. I am definitely a new person because of you. I'm definitely alive because of you. I appreciate the lumps and the bumps across this long life of mine. For as for it's only been by your grace and by your mercy that I'm here today. You are awesome God. You are a mighty God. You know, you, you showed me time and time again that you're somewhere around. You've never been far, but you've always been real close. Thank you. Thank you for blessing me. Thank you for loving me when no one else would. Thank you for bringing someone in my life that would love me like I needed to be loved because I love her just as much. I would get down on one knee right now, but I'm driving. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen. And as always, just want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming in today in this early morning hour. Well, we real early. In this early morning hours. May 1st, may he bless you as much as he's blessed me. May he keep you as much as he's kept me. And always know if you don't think nobody loves you, God loves you and I love you too. You guys have a blessed day. Amen.